Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. And for today's episode, we do have the game. Well, we actually have back-to-back games for you here against Pamplona, and another game for you as well to show. So it'll be a very interesting episode, of course. But yeah, it's been a while since the last episode, but since then we have had a really good upturn in form. So as you can see, we haven't, we've won 4 straight games in the league, and of course really important because now we're up to 9th and we're within touching distance of Europa League football. Really, we're on 26 points. We do have a game against Vigo, I think, which is after the Atletico Pamplona game. And we'll get to that in just a second, but yeah, if we beat Vigo, that means we are on 29 points and they're on 33. We close the gap to Europa League football, and if we manage to squeeze in ahead of Atletico Bilbao, that means we would be in 7th, and that would be in Europa League football. Of course, it's just the, I think, playoff third round, something like that. Can't remember what it's called. Let me have a look first. Yep, third qualifying round is the word. So that would be in 7th. If it's 5th or 6th, we go straight into a group stage. So hopefully we can actually squeeze ahead of Vigo as well. But the point is, it's a huge game, which is why we're trying to show it for you here today. But yeah, 26 points. So it's a huge improvement since the start of the season, really. And we're halfway through the season. We've got 26 points. If we can grab a better return than the first half of the season, who knows, we might actually be in the Europa League spots. But yeah, I think the last episode we showed you was the Atletico Madrid loss, but since then, plenty of greens, and finally it's turned around for us after that horrible start to our season. But yeah, 2-0 against San Sebastian, tough game. I don't think we were necessarily favourites, but we did manage to win through Medran and Zaza. Espanyol, we squeezed by on a 1-0 result. Victor Sanchez against St. Offers team also helped us just kind of cruise through the game. Unfortunately, we didn't really get an insurance goal, but at the same time, it didn't feel like we get too much of a threat from Espanyol. So yeah, back-to-back home wins, that was good to see, but we managed to also go away from home and beat Alaves in the second round, or the second leg of the 4th round Spanish Cup. And thankfully we went through based on away goals. We would have gone through either way because of Medran, because of the away goal, but Enzo Perez managed to get us a second in the 85th minute just to make things comfortable, just in case Alaves try to score. Atletico Bilbao was probably one of the most surprising results so far, because we really weren't favourites of them. The Europa League team as well. I was thinking about showing you guys this game, but I thought maybe we could show you a different one in Vigo, but it was absolutely dominant performance from us. Rodrigo opened the scoring for us within 8 minutes of the game, and Zaza managed to tie things up in the 73rd minute. Pamplona, though, we haven't managed to really get our revenge since the opening day of the season, so we did show you them in the away game here, but of course that's in the La Liga, but this is a cup competition, and we managed to draw 1-1. They are, of course, got the advantage on away goals, I think. Now we are away from home. We're going to have to try and get a good result and score, of course, as many games as possible. But yeah, we'll have back-to-back games, Atletico Pamplona and Valencia and Vigo. But yeah, 2 very important games. I think the reason why I'm showing you cup competition is because this is the 5th round, and they're expecting us to reach into quarterfinals. So I think right after this is the quarterfinal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there you go. So we have to. This is just to meet expectations. To be honest, I thought this said 5th round. Maybe they changed it after what's going on in La Liga. I don't know. Can the board change expectations? Either way, this is the team we'll be going with, and we'll talk more about that once the players actually warm up. But there is a couple of things I want to say. I want to shift our tactics a little bit. I think we've had relative success with not just the formation. I think I'm okay with the formation, but I'm talking about the player roles. I'm a kind of a fan, the whole 3 midfield playmakers, but at the same time I'm not, because it just means that when you have a playmaker, that means your team always looks towards them to create something of note, which means it always gives them the ball. But when you have 3 playmakers, the deep line playmaker doesn't have as much importance as the roaming playmaker, so players try and find the roaming playmaker more, and even the deep line playmaker doesn't necessarily try proper through balls. He actually just tries to find the roaming playmaker, and then the roaming playmaker also gets in the space of the attacking midfielder, advanced playmaker here, so they kind of just interchange, and sometimes that means the roaming playmaker is in the advanced playmaker position, which I don't have an issue with, but it means the advanced playmaker is in the roaming playmaker position, which has to defend, and of course attacking midfielders aren't as good at that. So we want to slowly shift our tactics. I'll show you actually just in a second what I mean. We'll have to just quickly man mark the attacking midfielder. Very defensive game from them. 3 at the back as well as a defensive midfielder. And of course they've got wing backs as well and dominating the midfield. And it's a nice little formation here, but hopefully we can still break this team down. It's going to be tough, but we have to do it because technically we're losing. But yeah, the tactics I want to eventually go for is actually just want to have 2 central defenders. I want to play wing back here as well as a wide playmaker, and I'll keep this as a winger and a full back here. That's fine. I want to play a shadow striker because I feel like the attacking midfielder doesn't get forward enough, doesn't really get past the complete forwards, especially if he's on support. He needs runners, so the shadow striker would do that. And then I want to switch to a central midfielder on defend duty. I feel like they defend better than deep line playmakers. Of course, deep line playmakers can defend without that. That's not, no question about that. They're just not as good as central midfielders defenders because of course they're looking to be more of playmakers and not necessarily too defensive minded, I guess you could say. I also want to play actually we would have the central midfielder on defend here because we've got a wing back here, so we'd have a box to box midfielder here, and I feel like him running up and down with the shadow striker there as well. He'll cover for any other players. I think we'll also be playing a sweeper keeper to make up for any high line. And I think we might actually try I think we'll have a stopper here as well for when the central midfielder on defend, because they close down more. It would make sense to have a stopper who closes down with them, and that way there's a lot of pressure there as well. Especially if the wing back's caught high up the pitch, the centre back on stopper duty can kind of cover that. Not cover in the traditional sense of a cover, but stop it in the sense that he'll go close them down quickly before anything happens. We have the sweeper keeper as well to come out in case of the high line. So that's the long-term plan, but for now we'll just stick with how things are going this season, and hopefully it'll work out for us in the end. I think I agree with Chema Sands, so we do need to try and get these players going. Okay, apparently we're favourites, so let's just go with that team talk. No need to tell them to make people eat their words. I think Dominic has actually been a little bit unhappy with his game time. It's understandable, of course, because we're not in a huge amount of cup competitions. That's the downside. I have it, like I think I mentioned before, I like to have a squad of 22 players, 11 first teamers and 11 backups who are youngsters who can eventually overtake from the 11 first teamers. But of course the problem with this policy is when you're playing with a team who aren't got any European football and aren't necessarily doing too well in cups, they get knocked out early or whatever, then the rest of the squad really does feel left out. So that's the problem with Dominique. He's actually, Zaza, what the hell? Twice hitting the post? Zaza was a very clear-cut chance, and that's just, I don't know, I don't even know what to say about that. That's just incredible for him to not score it. Quite literally mathematically impossible. He's hit the post though, so you can understand it's not like anything else happens. He has an opportunity to make up for it, but he couldn't. Carmona, ooh, hit the crossbar. We are slowly edging our way there though, it's good to see. But yeah, so Dominic was complaining about about football, of course, game time and whatnot. And it's fair, kind of fair. It's been 19 Premier League games, halfway through the season basically, and he's only played 4 times, so you can kind of understand. Carmona though, can he put a good ball into the box? We're really attacking the wide spaces. Oh, Zaza! Yes! Really attacking the wide spaces, which is perfect because, they're just playing wingbacks there. They're playing one player on either flank, and that's the weakness to their system, so we have to try and exploit that. Hopefully we can continue to do that. We've done it here. And as good as it is to see us take the lead, at the same time we have to remember, they already got their away goal, so this away goal doesn't count for too much other than giving us the lead. So we do have to score second for it to actually mean anything. But we are winning in the end of the day, so that's the point. Wait, why am I doing this? Don't know why I thought it was time to substitute already. But yeah, I think I want to slowly shift to that tactic that I got. I think I'm quite sure once we get into the summer transfer window, I can start to actually do that shift in tactics. I think the whole 3 playmakers, Torres, damn, Okay, Dominic almost looked like he was going to let that in. Yeah, I just feel like we can, no need to rock the boat mid-season, so let's not change things around and, do something that's unnecessary. Even though I'm quite sure, to be honest, we can kind of make it work currently with the players at our disposal. I think Rodrigo wouldn't be too bad as a wide playmaker. Well, the other thing to mention is that, once we do, it's going to be a 4-4-1-1 like I mentioned, but then we'll also switch to a 4-2-3-1 just like we do now, and the wide playmaker of course would become an advanced playmaker on the left wing, and we'll still have the shadow striker, centre midfielder, defend and box-to-box roles. All the roles are pretty much the same. It's just the wide playmaker that switches to an advanced playmaker. I guess Rodrigo's not too much of that. Maybe it was someone else I was thinking of. Who's it? Nani's the other left winger. Guess he could play as an advanced playmaker, but probably more of a winger. Nah, he doesn't have good decision or composure, so forget that. We'll have to slowly shift it out, even though Nani, maybe we can play him on the right wing as a winger instead. We'll see. We'll shift it around. But yeah, like I mentioned, long-term wise, I'm not too much of a fan of the 3 playmakers. As good as it served me in my Manchester United save, I think when you're away from home, you kind of just have to compliment the players either way. So it's not their best game ever, but at least we are leading, so just give them a bit of happiness there. Yeah, so with my Manchester United save, I've won the league 3 times in a row. I won the Champions League in one season, the same season that I won the Premier League. I won the FA Cup. Basically I won the treble. I won the FA Cup a bunch of times, Community Shield a bunch of times, and I think the EFL Cup twice or something as well. So it is a pretty successful tactic, but at the same time I feel like because it was Manchester United, because I could pretty much buy anyone in the world, my team kind of won games almost single-handedly just based on quality rather than tactics. So I was hoping to actually create a solid tactic and then build on that a solid team, rather than just have just winning based on quality rather than tactics, because obviously we did get exposed in some games. Tactic does get exposed. When you have 3 playmakers, that can tend to happen, I guess. Either way, Rodrigo on the ball, loses out, and it looks like Pamplona have started the second half with something to prove. They aren't too far away from us. They do have a clear-cut chance just like we do, and thankfully that's over from Kosic. But yeah, no, they're creeping into the game far too much for my liking. Munir, the advanced playmaker, is having a terrible game, and you can kind of understand that with the defensive midfielder and the 3 centre-backs. It's actually kind of surprising to see Zaza have a good game, but we'll take off Munir for Guilherme. Maybe he can do a better job there. Might be better off playing him as a trequartista so he can run away from the defensive midfielder, but we'll just keep it as is. Suarez on the yellow and a bit tired, so we'll take him off for Parejo, and maybe hopefully one of them can score. I'm looking more towards Guilherme for that. I think if Pamplona score another, we kind of just go into extra time, and I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible because we do have to, have a huge game against Vigo next, so we want our players to be as fresh as possible. Of course, I'm completely fine with the result staying as is as well. Point is to win. Parejo, is he going to score this free kick? Yes, he will. Hugo couldn't get it there. Wait, do they actually have Hugo in goal? Is that what I think it is? Yeah, it is the Italian. On loan from PSG. Oh, cool. That's a neat bit of business there from Pamplona. Oh, what a view we're going to get here. Parejo. I guess Hugo got a hand to it, just not strong enough. I still think it was a really good free kick though. Okay. There we go, got a second goal. So even if Pamplona scored 2 now to make it 3-3, we still go through on away goals. It works the exact same way that the Champions League rules work as well, I think. See who he can take off. Santos is a bit tired. Let's bring on Berda. Berda. I don't believe Berda. Okay. Control of possession. Yep. I mean, it's just 10% more. Good job by forcing Atletico Pamplona shoot from distance. Evident our crossing just isn't working at the moment. Kind of makes sense. If you've got a complete forward on support and an advanced playmaker, you need someone in the box. If if the complete forward is dropping, an advanced playmaker isn't necessarily going too far ahead of him, then you would expect that this would happen, that crossing's not working, because when the wingers get the ball and they don't find anyone in support next to them, they try and put it in the box, but if no one's in the box, that doesn't work either. Maybe we could have a look at our crossing completion rate and see after the game. Let's have a quick look. There you go. Good for us to actually reach the quarterfinals though. Good, I think it is a solid win, I agree. And hopefully we can carry that on in the La Liga where it counts. So let's have a look at the match stats. Where can I look for particular stats? This isn't what I'm looking for. Crosses completed. Okay, Valencia, sorry, whoops. Ooh, that's a very poor rate. It's 3 out of 27. Even they've got a horrible rate. I don't think you necessarily have high rates of crosses, but just 3 out of 27 seems really low. Maybe we can work on that a bit. But anyways, I think we already told the players good job, so we can just move on into the next game. So we'll just let the game save. Vigo's match against Vigo is in 3 days' time. We just have 2 days rest, so we kind of have to pick who performed well and see who's not necessarily in good form. Maybe we can switch them around, rest the players for those 2 days. You know, not necessary for them to really come into training, I would say, and then we can actually have a fresh group of players for the Vigo game. I think it's just 2 days, so we don't necessarily have to. I think we can. You guys can just hang on while we get to that bit. So Suarez and Munir are the only 2 players who didn't have necessarily the best of games. Munir worse than Suarez. Suarez though is in good form. Munir isn't, so we'll switch him off for Guilherme. Danilo is unregistered. That actually reminds me. I'll actually show you guys in just a second. It is January, of course, so there are, you know, transfers going on. So we've had some ins, so we've had some outs, and this is what's happened. So in terms of outs, we already recalled Mina, so it's nothing to note. It's actually Ayman went to Bayern, Montaya to Manchester United, and Cancelo to Arsenal. Now they really didn't go for good amounts of money, to be honest. In total, 22.5 for players who I think are really good for the division. For our division anyways, I don't know about, you know, England and Germany, but unfortunately for me, they were just forcing through the move, and they weren't happy with how much I was trying to ask for the money and whatnot. So I just kind of let them out for the wage, for what they were valued at. So as you can see, they were rated 8.25 for us, but because they've joined the bigger club in Bayern, their value automatically increases to 11 million. But we did bring in some players of our own as well. So Guilherme was in the beginning of the season. These 3 are the ones who are in the January window, and it's just the replacements for these players. So we bring up Berda as a central defender, backup for, replacement for Ayman. Carmona is the winger, right winger. He's not the best, of course, but he is a solid player, a decent player for most Premier League. I think actually we have a better judge of ability. Anyways, decent, and you know, we didn't spend too much on him, just 1.9. It's the right back that we bought off from Inter. He's a really good, solid right back as well, but ability-wise is also a little bit lacking. So we haven't got the best ability ever, but we have brought in players who fill up those spots. And I think actually their ability is a bit underrated by my head of youth development, Thomas Albach. Okay, so interestingly enough, we got Leganes in the Spanish Cup, who are currently getting relegated apparently. Let's have a look at the. Yeah, all the way bottom. So hopefully we can get a result and go further than quarterfinals, go into the semi-finals instead. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're not in the best financial state either to be investing in huge amounts of players. I think even the players that we did buy are actually, long-term buys. So they, I spent. You could say 1.9 million, but I actually spent probably half now and half within 48 months. So it's not necessary that I've lost all that money immediately. But I think once I reach the Vigo game, I can show you. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to rest my players. Oh, they seem to be okay. I'll rest them anyways, just in case. Finances quickly. Yep, just 3 million in the back, and we're expected to fail the FFP, so we're not in the Europa League, but if we did get there, then we'd be in some serious problem. Look at the balance, huge amounts of debts as well. Really not good. I always seem to pick the teams who struggle financially. I think the only team who I've actually played with who don't have money trouble were Manchester United. And even then, that save only went well after I stopped playing it for YouTube. So that's kind of my luck. So we've got a bunch of loan offers, but unfortunately, I don't consider anyone who, from second division B3, because we already have Valencia B who are in that division. So it kind of just makes sense to send my players there. So unless the club who are coming in for loans, who are, a club that's asking for one of my players on loan, unless they're in the second division or first division even, like Santimina, we sent him on loan. We obviously brought him back, but I mean, it was the first division, so okay, cool. So apparently we got some money for, which amounts to 798. But yeah, the point is, I forgot what the point is now. What was I talking about? Yeah. Okay, let's just play the game and forget everything else. Dominic injured for some reason, but either way, Alves should be the one to start because he is the La Liga goalkeeper for us, not cup competitions. Let's actually have a quick look at the cup competition. I mean, we did draw Leganes, but I want to see who could we possibly play against next. It's first leg, second leg kind of thing. So Barcelona, Madrid, Atletico Madrid. So there's no Real Madrid. Did they fail in the last round? Oh, they did get knocked out by Atletico Madrid. Okay, fair enough. 7-3. Good God, what's going on, Madrid? So at least that's one rival out of the way. And how would the semi-final look? Okay, so we're probably going to face off against Atletico Madrid, and in the final, we're probably going to face off against Barcelona. That's perfect for us. Great. If we could win a cup competition, get Europa League football, I think that'd be a very solid season, despite that really ridiculous start. So yeah, let's get into the Vigo game. 3 points are the order of the day. It's going to be it's just incredible how important this game is at the moment, just to really show that we're Europa League competitors and not just mid-table team. We're still in 9th in the end of the day, much closer to mid-table than it is to, I think if we lose, I think even down to about Eibar, so that's 12th, who can jump all the way above us, so we have to be very careful. Mark Iago Aspas, who I've always struggled against with other teams, he always seems to score against me, so hopefully in this save he won't do anything. I think just go for the underdog talk, and let's see what my players can do. Can they prove that they're more than just underdogs? Right, kick off against Vigo. Some interesting players there. Rossi, Orellana, Goda. Aspas is a danger man if you ask me, to be honest. Hernandez is quite decent too. I think that's it. Alvarez. Malo, Hugo Malo, of course, the captain. Top right back. He's not the best in terms of ability. I think he's only ever considered as a good player for most La Liga sides. But he's just absolutely incredible. Attributes wise, he's solid. He's got all the attributes possible that you would want in a right back, really. And whenever you play him, he just always seems to be in form. Of course, he's I think captain as well, so that always helps, that little bit of leadership. He's just a really good buy, and you don't need to spend too much for him. Well, at least when I was Manchester United, probably if I'm Valencia, I'd have to spend more to get him, to steal him from Vigo. But yeah, he's always about like 7.5 million, and just absolutely incredible. Medran on the ball though. Zaza, can he find his man through? So he takes a long way around, and then it's Galeme on the ball. And there you go, that's Medran. And that's what I mean about the roaming playmaker and advanced playmaker getting in each other's spaces. And how quickly the roaming playmaker have to run back. Donati's mistimed that header, and Bongodo is on the ball here. Ridiculous tackle from Mangala, and Rossi's there to score. Just absolutely poor defending. We'll get, not thankfully, but we will get another opportunity to look at that horrible defending. And Vigo started with 5 shots in the opening 12 minutes. Possession-wise, we're okay, but we haven't had a single shot. Look at that from Mangala. Donati just absolutely missed that. And then their fellow centre-back partner has absolutely left Rossi free. We've got 2 midfielders here doing absolutely nothing. A bunch of midfielders running in. This player here is not even marking him, and Gaia's just kind of in this weird space, not really marking either player either. And that's what you get when you have a poor defense. Donati is the one who gets the poor rating for it, and it's understandable. His missed header has put us on the back foot here, and that's not too pleasing. So who knows, maybe we'll see our new signing. Is he on the bench? Yep, Ambriosa. I think he'll definitely overtake Donati eventually, but for now Donati is playing. Hugo Malo, what can he do here? Apparently he can play it quite easily in the midfield. Otto's running forward with it here, and he finds Rossi, the goal scorer, quite easily, and he finds his man Bongoda once more getting in behind Donati. And is he going to have a terrible game for us this game rather? And very, very easy ball for Rossi again. And again, as you guys can see, some poor defending. It's just absolutely amateur schoolboy defending, as they say. Look at how many people are in the box, and Rossi's absolutely free to score this. He shouldn't be getting that cross in the first place. And look at that, there's 4 players in the box there, both are centre backs. I'm assuming this is a midfielder here. It keeps showing Mangala, but it's probably Suarez. And Rossi still breaks free. I mean, absolutely no reason for him to be free in the 6-yard box after closing down someone who's going to cross. But Vigo have proved that they are Europa League contenders, and we are not. And unless we can stop the flow of goals here, Rossi might punish us once more with a good through ball, Bongoda. And thank God he's missed. So maybe in the second half we should try out that little tactic I was telling you guys about. Maybe we can perform a little bit better. But the likelihood is the players did not start with the right mentality. That sometimes happens. You can have good tactics, but sometimes the players are just not on it, and the other team exposes them horribly. And as you can see, 3 out of my 4 defenders are having poor ratings, and even Mangala's had a bit of a quiet game. But these players have just had terrible games, really not good enough. Hopefully we'll have a better second half. I won't switch to the other tactics. I don't think it necessarily makes sense now. I think, just gradually transition into it over next season. The players can, up the performance, that'd be great. Hopefully the screaming would work. But the likelihood is Vigo have already managed to get the 3 points here. Doesn't look like my players can put up an ounce of fight. Alright, so Zaza's had the pole game, so we'll take him off. We need to make some attacking changes. Let's bring on Nani for Rodrigo. And maybe Munir for Guilherme. No, we'll keep on Guilherme. Let's take off Suarez for Dani Parejo. Alright, 3 substitutions are never a good thing, to be honest, but players are tired, players are performing poorly. And maybe switching things up might be what we need. Rossi's probably going to punish us once more. Orellana plays it back, Diaz on the ball, Hernandez finds Otto, and suddenly Aspas is free to play Rossi absolutely through. And I would count that as a clear-cut chance, but he really just had a second to score there, otherwise he was going to be absolutely battered by my defenders. Well, I would assume, but after today's performance, maybe not so. But yeah, there you go, 3 substitutions made, 70th minute, and Vigo are going all out here to try and get a result. We're still on the 4-1-4-1, I forgot we should push up to 4-3-1. Rossi's probably going to kill us anyways. There you go. Killed the game for his team. Absolutely destroyed away from home. Look at the fans bouncing up and down. 9th goal of the season for Rossi. He was on 6 before he faced us. And again, just really poor defending. He shouldn't be free there at all. And the goalkeeper just cannot get down there quick enough. A little bit of a silly goalkeeper, to be honest. And he's also got a bit of a poor rating there. But I can't blame him too much. If the striker's free, that's not the goalkeeper's fault. That's defending. But maybe, of course, maybe he could do better with the shot there. We can always say that. And anyways, looks like we're just killing the clock. If we can end the game here, that would be perfect. I'd rather not see a score 4. A goal difference does count a lot. And who knows, the way things are going, Europa League football might mean that we would need a better goal difference than some other teams. The way we started this season, the likelihood is that we're on some poor goal difference. So we'll have a look actually now after the referee blows his whistle here. Clear the ball, please. There you go. Vigo 3, Valencia 0. And that was probably one of the worst performances of our season. But I already told the players off at halftime, so it doesn't make sense to tell them off once more and put them in even better, or even worse rather, in morale. 20 games played though, and a goal difference of -2 is just not good enough to get into Europa League football here. But Vigo proving that they may yet have it in them to actually qualify for Champions League football. Madrid, Bilbao, Sevilla seem to be doing okay, but Atletico Madrid and Atletico Bilbao are kind of playing with fire here. Madrid though do have the game in hand, so they can actually climb up the table. But you know, until the game is won, the game is not won, of course. Alright there, so apparently the referee has an amazing game as well, so there's no one to blame. But yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. And you know, I think I already mentioned, but there's no real timeline for when we'll be back. I think we're expected to beat Leganes, so I won't necessarily show that cup again. Maybe I'll show you the semi-final against possibly Atletico Madrid. That'll be an interesting game to show. Already showed you Pamplona, so it doesn't make sense either. Real Hispalis are 13th. That's not necessarily Europa League football. Corona neither. Madrid, we've already showed you the game against them. Eibar no. Gion no. Barcelona also first. Granada. Looks like we have a decent run of fixtures here. So maybe rather than, you know, the team who are in the poorer position, maybe not necessarily be a bigger game, but maybe 3 points would be crucial. Maybe in one of the fixtures, our opponents, or our rivals rather, for the Europa League football have a tougher game and we have an opportunity to overtake them. So maybe we'll do one of those. So you can assume it's going to be somewhere around here, to be honest. Probably Eibar, Gion. Just a couple games, you know, difference between this episode and the next episode, really. But yeah, I think that'll be all for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, then of course, please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, guys, thank you all very, very much for watching.